What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down why the market is breaking all-time highs and why it has potential to squeeze even more if we see some things pan out, and also what's happening to President Trump and his new tariffs and some announcements that could help the market push even more. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo links that are down below or sign up with my QR code that's right over here. Moomoo is an amazing global brokerage that consists of many exclusive offers. If you sign up and deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 25 in total. And deposit $5,000, you're guaranteed 60 free stocks. The offer ends in just about 14 days from now, in just 2 weeks. So check it out before they run out. Another benefit of signing up is that you're going to qualify for free data to see order flow and what's happening with options chains for your favorite stocks and ETFs. So check out my link down below or sign up with my QR code that's right over here. Anyways, now let's get on with the video. So as far as the market's going, SPY is breaking all-time highs all over again. We're above the 627 resistance, and if we could hold this, we're going to likely see a continuation higher as we have a lot of puts expiring. We have a 2.7 put to call option ratio. We have over 2.5 million puts expiring. Those are short positions that are making up the majority of the options chain for SPY. And there's a lot of open interest at particular levels that could suggest more upside, which I'll talk about in just a couple of minutes. But for now, we're looking very, very bullish. We're looking very, very strong. Even the QQQ is breaking all-time highs again, once again looking very, very strong, and the buyers are still very, very present for now. But the question is, will the market get a rejection and turn back down? What levels should we be watching for? What's likely going to happen? I'll give you guys my predictions in just a couple of minutes. Let's first talk about some news. So why is the market pushing? There's many reasons. First and foremost, we touched some key support yesterday. We saw SPY touching this like 618 to 620 zone, which is where we like to get slingshotted right back up. So it happened right here, happened right here, happened right here. Same thing with the QQQ. We bounced off critical support. And simultaneously, President Trump made it very clear that he does not want to fire Jerome Powell. In fact, we heard him repeat the same thing again. That also helped to fuel the markets to some extent. So we heard President Trump say that he does not have plans to fire Jerome Powell, although he did mention that Jerome Powell is not doing a very good job again. But with President Trump saying that, that is what helped the market to a large extent. He gave us the clarification we needed. So that was one factor. Another factor was we got lots of good data. If you look at our initial jobless claims, everything was very close to expectations. Also, when you look at like retail sales, everything was not too bad. And then data from the Philly Fed, it also looks pretty good. Everything was once again very close to expectations. So good data overall. Employment is looking solid. New orders are quite strong. And overall, we got some good data, at least for the markets. Now, tomorrow is going to be Friday, July 18th, 2025. We basically have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment data at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 30 minutes after the stock market opens. That's when we're going to be looking for some volatility. For now, the market remains strong and bullish if we hold above these levels. Now, what did President Trump say that was very significant? Well, the first thing I want to mention is that President Trump has been very optimistic about his tariffs, and he's been saying that, once again, they're going to be helping to bring in more revenue, and simultaneously, he's very confident that we're going to be looking for more deals. President Trump said he's going to be sending out letters to 150 different countries, and the tariffs for them are going to range between 10 and 15%. He made that very clear that we're expecting, once again, more negotiations. President Trump also imposed a 93.5% anti-dumping tariff on Chinese graphites. That's very important because this puts the total cost for importers at about 160%. This is not the best of news for some stocks like Tesla and their suppliers like Panasonic and many others that depend a lot on Chinese graphite, because for the time being, the methods are more affordable, and then also they're a little bit more clean, right? They're more clean, at least for the time being. So that's what we heard, at least from Tesla. This was not the best of news for Tesla and many other EV companies, but for the time being, like I said before, we're not really seeing a major dump because of this. It was just a minor little pullback, and we're still seeing support being held. On top of this, there's been some more very, very optimistic news about earnings. The earnings from banks that came out were quite good so far, from Goldman Sachs to Bank of America and JP Morgan. That's also good news for the markets as buyers are defending. And then once again, President Trump has continued to clarify that he does not want to fire Jerome Powell. That also helped the market to a larger extent, fueling a short squeeze. For those who are curious, this is what the tariffs look like right now. So if you guys want to take a screenshot of this, you can. Just to zoom in a little bit, you guys can see that Indonesia has a 19% rate now compared to the 32% rate before. This is because of the new deal that just came out. Vietnam may get a 20% rate, but the deal is to be finalized. It's not 100% finalized yet. We're waiting for that. President Trump is saying that the deal is going to be coming very soon. The UK is at 10%, and many other countries have 30%, 25%, but the deals are to be determined. And then Brazil has the highest rate so far at 50%, unless we see a deal in the next couple of weeks, which is what the president said he wants to see. So keep that in mind. President Trump also said some important things about how there's going to be a Vietnamese trade deal coming. He says that it's pretty much just well set and that we should be expecting it very, very soon. This could also be very bullish for the markets because Vietnam has many comparative advantages for American suppliers, and that could be very, very big. At the same time, President Trump also said that he's expecting a deal with India. So he's been repeating that. That's once again some more good news. The market remains optimistic as a result. For more news, we just got Netflix announcing their earnings, and this is what the calendar looks like. We basically have a couple more for tomorrow, very quiet earnings. Then next week is going to get very serious with Tesla and many big tech earnings starting. But for today, we got Netflix, and although they did relatively well, the share price is not doing too well. It's kind of flat right now, but they had very good earnings, right? Their second quarter revenue is up 16%. They raised their full year guidance, and overall, they beat estimations. They reported a revenue of 11.08 billion. That's beating the estimations of 11.07 billion, and they raised their full revenue guidance for the entire year. The guidance is now up, and we saw a very, very nice growth. So that's great news so far. EPS was a nice beat, so was revenue, and they're doing fantastic. So great job by Netflix. So that's bullish in terms of the fundamentals, but for the share price, a lot of this may have been priced in. That's why Netflix is kind of flat. Now, as far as the stock market goes, for SPY for tomorrow, check this out. We have a lot of these calls expiring. We actually have about 900,000 of these calls expiring, a little bit more than that. But despite over 900,000 calls expiring, we have over 2.5 million of these puts expiring. 2.5 million plus. That puts max pain at 610 and a 2.7 put to call option ratio. That means there's 2.7 shorts for every long position that's expiring on SPY for tomorrow. That's a very, very big piece of news. That tells us that market makers, if they want, they could cause a short squeeze to hurt shorts even more, or there could be other things that happen, such as like we see a lot of chop and then we try to push again. We'll see about that. We'll see if the market rejects or not. But as of right now, what would be advantageous for market makers is to kind of hold the market up for some time, which could hurt a lot of shorts. On top of this, when you look at the overall options chain, what you'll see is from the call side of things, there's quite high volume and open interest for the 630 strike. Another area of interest is 627 if we get a flat close. There's also a lot of volume there. So those are going to be two important levels to watch for tomorrow. So what does all of this mean for the stock market? What is my prediction moving forward? Let's break down the meat and potatoes of this market, the very, very good stuff. So what's happening with this? So the market is looking bullish because we're trying to break structure right here. Notice that SPY was in this range, right? We basically would break out near 627, reject, dump to 620, bounce, back up, back down, back up, back down. And then all of a sudden, we're breaking out. We're breaking out right here. If we could hold this, especially tomorrow, if we hold above 627, we're going to be expecting this to push for the 630s pretty easily. If we could hold above 627 at the very least, we will be expecting more upside. Now, if we're bearish, if you want to be a big bear in the stock market, you want to see us basically lose this green line right here. If we fail around this, I think it's going to be close to like 625 tomorrow. If we fail at the 20 EMA on the 4-hour time frame, we're going to be favoring a move back down to like 622, just in case there's bad news, right? We can't always predict what President Trump will say, what's going to happen with the Fed, or what's going to happen with the tariffs. We can't predict everything, so we don't always know how things are going to go. But for now, the stocks still look more bullish. When you zoom out even more, check this out, guys. The daily looks solid. It looks very strong on the daily time frame. We're also nearing a bullish cross in the PPO. The volume is not the strongest, but we're doing a good job on SPY. By the way, the QQQ's daily is looking bullish. There's no sign of us rejecting unless we get back below this 560 area. We're looking quite strong. The Russell 2000 daily is looking strong. ES on the daily is looking strong. This is the daily candlestick for today. This is going to start tomorrow. It's still looking bullish. NQ looks bullish. Everything's looking bullish, guys. Even Tesla. Tesla's a little bit weaker because we got that news about graphite and some bad news, but it's still holding up. And Nvidia is looking bullish on the daily. So the daily charts look strong, guys. We're favoring the upside direction a lot more. So what do I think is going to happen? Right, we went over the bullish and bearish cases. Just in case SPY loses 527, make sure you watch 520. 627. In case we lose 627, watch 625. If that fails us, we're going to be turning back down. For now, I don't see a sign of that. We're actually looking quite strong. So for the time being, we're still favoring the upwards direction if we could hold above this support. So we got to hold 627. If that holds, I would not be surprised to see us go for that 630 target. We're still looking very strong and very solid in my personal opinion. So great job by SPY so far. The 4-hour looks very solid and there's lots of buyers defending. Now the triple Q, it's looking strong, especially as we're seeing a lot of tech stocks pushing upwards. Basically, you have this resistance right here, which is now going to become our next support near 560. So notice that we had the previous all-time high here. We got to hold above this red line. I know the daily looks bullish, but in case we are bearish, just to be very, very blunt, if this red line fails us, if we don't hold above the red line right here, this very important 560 area, we're going to be dipping to 557. If that doesn't hold, be ready for some downside to retest these lows in case we get bad news. Now, if we're bullish, you want to see us basically hold above the red line, above this 560 to 557.5 area for tomorrow. We got to hold above this. And then we're going to be looking for an attempt to bounce to once again continue this push. Looking at the technicals, we're looking quite strong. So we're favoring some consolidation and then an attempt to fight at 562. 562 is going to be kind of tough to break, but I think there's a good chance we try to break it and go for 564. So for now, I do anticipate a bit of a shuffle and then an attempt to break out to 564 if this continues. I think the odds do favor that as the trend is very bullish. The trend is making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and there's no sign of us stopping just yet. Now, when it comes to seasonality, typically in the month of August, we are bearish. Typically in August, September is the most bearish time of the year. So there's a good chance we will see some kind of pullback when we get to August, but we're not there yet. We're still 2 weeks away from that. So for now, we're still remaining more bullish and we could be breaking all-time highs again, but things could change once we get to August. So please keep that in mind. Now for the IWM, it's quite bullish because we have a very nice looking giant inverse head and shoulders. We have a left shoulder, head, and right shoulder, and this is going to likely continue to uptrend and make its way up for that 230 target if this were to continue to pan out. Now, if you want to be a big bear, you want to see this basically fail at 220 to start dumping back down. Looking at the current technicals, okay, if we lose 220, this could be dumping back down. As long as we're above 222, though, we're favoring some consolidation, then an attempt to start pushing for 225, then back up to break out towards 228. The Russell 2000 still looks more bullish. ES is looking stronger. It depends if we could hold our key levels, though. We're watching this horizontal line around this 6330 area. If we lose this, this could be dipping back down towards 6300 flat. But if we hold above this, we're going to be favoring an attempt for essentially 6350 or above, and we could continue to break out to new all-time highs. My gut tells me this is going to be going for new all-time highs and lead SPY up higher. ES is looking very solid, and we're still favoring much new upper highs, new all-time highs. On NQ, it's higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Now, if we were to hypothetically lose 23,180-ish, if we fail here, we're looking for a move back down to 23,000 flats. But if we're bullish, you want to see us basically continue to make higher lows, an uptrend for basically 23,300 or above as we're making higher highs and higher lows. So NQ is looking more bullish in my personal opinion, and we're favoring the upwards direction. I think we're doing a fantastic job so far. Bitcoin's looking more bullish. Now, if we were to hypothetically lose 116,800, we could turn down. If this support right here fails, us expect this to start dumping. But for now, we're looking bullish and we're favoring an attempt to break out right here to get up to about 122,000 to retest these highs. Bitcoin to me looks more bullish and buyers are continuing to defend. Tesla is technically on an uptrend, but it needs to hold some critical supports. It's not looking as great as we had that news about graphite, news involving Waymo expanding their self-driving technology in Austin, Texas, competing with Tesla. And also Tesla got a big downgrade because of some anticipation of a sell-off after earnings. Now, I could see this retest this trend line, which aligns with our 20 EMA at 315. If we hold this, we could bounce and continue to push. But if we lose 313, we're looking for a dip back down. So you want to be very careful with Tesla. Hopefully we hold 315 and bounce. I have faith in Tesla. Hopefully we hold support and we try to bounce next week as we get closer to earnings. That's what I'm hoping for, is this uptrend could continue. But be careful with Tesla. It's very news dependent, and the news affects the share price a lot. Hopefully we dip a bit and then bounce near 315 to try to push back up to 320 and 325. For Nvda, we're looking more bullish. We're making higher highs and higher lows. If we end up losing essentially this 170 area to 169, this could be dipping to 167. But as long as we're above 169, we're favoring 172.5, then basically a bounce off that and a continuation to slowly uptrend for 175. For now, Nvidia is looking quite bullish. Appl is looking decent. It's actually very tight right now. It's just getting very, very tight and choppy until we see a breakout of this wedge. I expect this to continue to consolidate until we break up or down. So get ready for a big move until we break out. We'll see about that just to be safe. Netflix is only down 1.7%. It's not really much, guys. It's not going to affect the market too much. I think tomorrow we might just see consolidation. It's not going to make too much of a move. Earnings were pretty good, though. I don't see why it's like that terrible. The revenue just barely met some expectations, so it makes some sense. But I just want to say that I'm not too worried about this. It's just not really much of a move, but earnings were solid, in my personal opinion. MSTR is looking bullish. So long as we don't lose 443.5, we're favoring 460 plus. We're still looking bullish, and we're seeing a lot of buyers continuing to defend. For others out there, we have Celsius. We're favoring 45 to be tested. This is where the EMAs happen to be. As long as we don't lose 43.5, we're favoring 45. We're going to see if this breaks out or not. We'll look for a test of 45. For Supermicro, we could be dipping a little bit. We could be retesting basically this 51.9 area. We're going to see if we bounce off 51.9, or if we lose this, start dipping. Look for a small dip, and let's see if we bounce off 51.9, so give it some time. Palantir is looking bullish, making higher highs and higher lows. No sign of a rejection unless we get back below 150, but for now we're favoring an attempt to push for 157.5. Overall, I think we're looking quite good. For Rivian, we're range bound right here. If we end up breaking 13.5, it's bullish, but if we lose 12.8, we're looking for a dip back down. My guts tells me this might dip a little bit to 12.8 to 12.5 in this range. Then we'll see if we bounce off this to form an inverse head and shoulders. I'll be watching that very closely, but for now, we do favor the upwards direction. For SoFi, we're looking for basically 21.23. If that fails us, we're going to be looking for a dip back down to 20. As long as we hold this support, we're going to be favoring some upside for 22.5 or above. Overall, SoFi is looking more bullish. For AMD, we're going to be looking for 158. If that fails us, we're looking for a dip back down to 155. I do think that this might dip a little bit because we're making a lower high here. So we might look for a retest of 158, but I want to see us bounce. We could still bounce very nicely. Every time we're dipping, we're bouncing. We're dipping, we're bouncing, dipping, and bouncing. Might dip a little bit to retest 158. As long as we don't lose 153, though, we could still try to bounce again. It's still looking bullish. But watch that just to be safe. I would be very careful with AMD nonetheless. ARM might retest 155 and then try to bounce and consolidate. So that's what I'm seeing for now. That's what I'm seeing for the time being. So watch that very closely. PayPal's looking more bullish. Now, if we end up losing 73.5, it's going to be dipping back down, but this is forming a bullish trend. Made a low here, came up, made a higher low, came up. As long as we continue this trend, we're going to be favoring 75. We look bullish on PayPal. Coinbase is breaking out. As long as we hold above 410, we're favoring 420. Very, very interesting number, 420. And then we could break that and continue to go higher. We're looking quite good on Coinbase. On Amazon, we're range bound. It's looking a little bit more bullish, though. It's trying to make higher lows, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. And this could be favoring an attempt to go back up towards this 225 area. If that breaks, I think we're looking for 225 as our potential target. For Meta, we're technically on a downtrend. Unless we get back above 711, we're favoring a move back down to like 698 or below, and we'll see if buyers defend or not. For Google, we're making higher lows here. If we lose 182, we're looking for a dump to 180 as long as this holds. We're going to be favoring 185 to 186 as our potential targets. So the upside direction does look a bit more bullish, and we're looking quite good. For Microsoft, we're looking quite good. It is at some tough resistance. I wouldn't be surprised if this retests previous resistance becoming support between 508 to 510. As long as we don't lose 505, though, we could still bounce and continue to break out like that. But there might be a small dip coming before it tries to bounce. So please keep that in mind. For DJT, we're looking bullish so long as we don't lose 18.65. We're favoring 19.38. The VIX got this wick here in a big rejection. We have a gap to fill here and another gap down here around 15.8, but it's still, once again, looking bearish. The 10-year is kind of flat right here, so is the dollar, not really affecting the market as much. And then we have an inverse head and shoulders forming on crude. We're going to see if this pushes or not, but it's not affecting us way too much. So my view of the market is simple. We need to watch our levels just to be safe. SPY has got to hold above 627 to remain bullish. If we lose that, there could be a retest of 625 or below just in case. But for the time being, looking at the charts and considering that we're getting lots of good economic data, and then also considering that President Trump is saying there's going to be a lot of potential trade deals coming, and because of all these like major bank earnings that were quite good, I think it's been fueling a rally. And with all the shorts expiring tomorrow, I do suspect upside is a bit more probable, and the odds are favoring a squeeze to continue as we have so many shorts expiring. With that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. The market's looking quite strong and more bullish, but make sure you watch your levels to be safe and pay attention to the news. Anyways, have a good one, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow before the market opens. Have a good day, night, or evening wherever you guys are around the world, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thanks again for listening. See you guys tomorrow before market open, and peace out.